Welcome back to all our viewers. Welcome back, Rushabh. Finally, we saw some Indian, courageous display of batting for however long they were on the pitch. KL Rahul getting out, in the end. Rushabh, what was your take on the session and how it went for India?
Wicket wise, I think that was a really good thing which we mentioned that it's important to get those 2 wickets early, which we did. So that was +1 to India. They started off really well. I think the fact we spoke about that it's not going to be a lot of movement,
Yeah,
but you never know. You can just use the word unlucky here because as soon as India was supposed to come into bat, it started raining. Even though it was a
yeah,
light rain, it did have an impact on the wicket. Even though they cover it well, a little bit of dampness is something which you can understand that was there. But yeah, I mean, not a lot of lateral movements. You could see the batsmen playing their shot. That was one good positive side to look at it. Rohit Sharma getting a six. You could see KL Rahul, taking his front foot out and playing the drive, even though in the hands of the fielder. But that showed the confidence with which the Indian batsmen have sort of approached this whatever little bit of time they batted. And I think that's all we expect from them. I mean, this is a
right.
lost match. To make a match out of it itself is a very big thing. If we are able to do that, keeping a positive approach and being in a positive frame of mind, I think nothing like it.
Absolutely, and a very wrong time for KL Rahul to get out. Just before lunch, that is the time where you expect your batsman just to play it out, and that's the worst time to get out as a batsman. And KL Rahul would be kicking himself. He'll be like, a big opportunity missed. But how do India build from here on? What should India do now when they go on to bat in the next session?
See, actually, if I have to tell you the next batsman which is coming in for India, which is Pujara, this is a tailor-made situation for him. He
Yes,
cannot find a much better situation than this to make a comeback, to score some runs, and to make a direct impact on the outcome of the game. There have been a lot of talks about his strike rate, how slow he plays. He should have a lot more an aggressive approach. But all those fans today, they would be hoping that Pujara plays like the classical Pujara we are known to. Because this is sort of a situation wherein you have somebody like a Rohit Sharma at the other end who's scoring runs. Even in the first innings when nobody scored runs, he looked positive. He played his shots. And if you get somebody like a Pujara with him, uh, as Rohit Sharma also, he will get a lot of confidence because he knows that
yeah,
from one end, I'm sure that somebody is holding one end up. There's no chance of losing that wicket. That's something
correct.
which India did even during the India Australia series where Pant won us the game. Pant and Pujara batted for a brief period of time, and Pant played his shots because he knew that Pujara was sort of blocking one end up. He was not losing
Right.
wickets from there. And if India can do that, if Pujara can do something like that once again, I think all the other batsmen can revolve around him like it has been like for the traditional number three for India. And at least we can end today's day on a positive note because talking about 3 days is quite far off. But if we break it down, if we go in at the end of the day with at least 2 or 3 wickets, I think it would still be very positive. So Pujara has to take that onus. He has to be that mainstay. As well as, I mean, anyways, when it comes to Pujara, it's not about number of runs, but the number of balls he faces. And today's his day. It has to be his day.
Absolutely, it has to be Pujara's day. All the best wishes to him and to Rohit Sharma as well. But Virat Kohli coming in, he would be number 4 to come in. Do you think that he would have a different approach today? Try not to play the cover drive, fighting his own demons inside rather than anyone else. So he has a big role here as well. Like you said, you expect 100 from him. That's what you've predicted, 100 for Virat Kohli finally. But you think that today his approach should be a bit different than how he usually plays? He tries to play a counter-attacking innings more often than not. He plays his shots. But here when he comes, the situation doesn't ask for runs. It asks for, longevity and playing longer time on the crease. So you think that Virat Kohli needs to just adapt and just fight his own battles, not to play those extravagant cover drives or, just play according to the merit of the ball?
Rather, I would suggest Virat Kohli. I mean, I could expect Virat Kohli to play his natural game because what we spoke about yesterday also that unless it's your natural game, uh, you're not really comfortable doing that job.
Correct.
If you are known as an aggressive batsman, play that way. Don't try to play defensively because that will only get in front your weaknesses and that would expose you to the opponents. There's more chance of getting out when you're doing something you're not confident about than doing what you're confident about. So if Kohli is confident, Virat knows that he can play those shots, he can get it through, he should go for it. It's just about keeping calm. I mean, he can't go in there with whatever backlog of what has happened before, how aggressive they have been bowling to him, or whatever the first innings not happening really well, all of that. He just needs to
Right.
clear that package off, go out there as a batsman Virat Kohli and not as a captain Virat Kohli. If he's able
Yeah.
to do that, I'm sure even the cover drives which he's struggling right now with will come out with such good flow that all will stand up and applaud. That's for sure. So I think it's all about the mindset. It's all about how on what space he is in. If he's in good space, if he's positive, he should just go out there and get those runs, because ultimately runs are also important.
Right.
We've been spoken about it. It's not going to be the case that we are going to bat out the entire 3 days. At some point of time, there would be an eye on the score as well to see how much are we trailing by, and you have to get a lead in case you want England to bat. So runs are equally important as much as time, if not more. So I think Virat Kohli should play his normal game. If he gets it right, we are in for a treat. Like I hope so that he gets 100 today. But I don't think so. He should change anything just for the sake of it.
Just a counter argument here, Rishabh. We see Rohit Sharma. I, for one, think that Rohit Sharma is a much more complete white ball player when it comes to just aggressive nature. His nature and his intent is much more aggressive than of Virat when it comes to white ball cricket. He likes to hit the ball in the air. He plays his shots. But him coming here, he has made a point that, he has completely changed his game. Rishabh has completely changed his game, and he's molded himself into this monk who doesn't play the deliveries outside off stump. So if a person like Rohit Sharma, who is known to just whack the balls over cover for six, is trying to leave the balls and trying to be patient and showing a grit and determination in his innings, you think that is something that we can expect from Virat Kohli as well? And just like you said, he plays his shots and Virat Kohli needs to play his natural game. But sometimes the natural game is the biggest devil of your technique, or whatever the reason may be. So do you think that is one thing that we also as experts need to think about, that what if Virat Kohli has applied himself and he comes up with a very different plan as to, I'm just going to block or leave the deliveries outside off stump. I'm going to play according to my strengths. That's on my pad or on the straight or as a straight drive. So you think that is something that Virat Kohli also should or probably would try and have that approach in this innings?
See, I mean, you spoke about Rohit Sharma. We have heard even in Rohit Sharma's interview, he was told that from before the tour itself, he has been practicing that because he
Right.
wants to sort of adapt to the red ball circuit, and because of that, he's been working a lot on leaving deliveries, not putting a stride right in front or playing ball outside of. So there's
Right.
been a month or a 2-3 months work
Preparation.
which has
Right.
been gone behind that. But when it comes to somebody like Virat Kohli, we have seen even in the nets, we have seen him playing his shots. Even in the nets, when the videos we see on social media, which the Indian team puts up, you can see Virat Kohli playing his shots. Sort of expressing his intent the way he bats. So I think on only for this innings to just suddenly change what he have been doing for the last 2-3 months is difficult, and that is when
Makes sense.
you open up. Basically, that's when you get what you can say. You give the opponent a crack to sort of crack in the entire wall.
Right.
It's like if a water has to seep in, it looks for cracks to seep in. And if Virat Kohli plays the way he plays, it looks like a complete wall. Even if you get out in that process, it's obviously wrong. I'm not supporting him. But if you try to play sort of a defensive cricket when it's not your game, basically you're telling the water that, see, this is the crack, just pass through it and break me. So that's something which I maybe, sorry, but I beg to differ on that point with what you said, that Rohit Sharma has been working for it for long. Virat Kohli, we have not really heard or seen him work on that aspect of the game quite a lot. And he's much more sort of relevant or good for the side when he plays the way he plays. Because if you suddenly see Virat Kohli going into the shell, even you would start thinking that is something wrong with Virat Kohli. And that's when the opponents will be like, okay, if he's not attacking, he might be under pressure. That is the time when we will start to pressurize him more. Yeah, in Mumbai terms, what we use, chadke khelna. That is something which Virat Kohli has been doing, and that is more evident because of the way he plays his shots, the flamboyance he has around that shot. So I think he should just go about that, because this is not a point where you can let the opponents know that yes, you are under the pump. Even though you have to come out as you are quite aggressive, and that can only come with the way you bat. So I would rather be happy with Virat Kohli the way he bats rather than just getting under the shell and changing the way he plays.
Right. No, I completely agree with it. I just was wanting to know a different approach if Virat Kohli could apply, because the way he's been batting, he's not got immense success on English conditions, in English conditions this time around. Last time around, he did the same thing and he was the most successful batsman there was. So times have changed. So there needs to be a bit of change. But anyway, moving on. Speaking of the English bowling, Overton, the way he's bowling Rishabh, he is getting that late movement, and because of his height, he has this extra meter or so of bounce, which no one else has. Oli Robinson and Overton, both of them. So you think that he's one player to watch out for because he's getting good movement off the seam and in the air as well. And with that height and the length that he's hitting, it's just it's difficult for batsmen to pick the length right up, because from the height that it's coming on, you always tend to go back, and that is where he's most lethal, where he can catch you on the crease. So you think that he's the player to watch out for England?
I mean, absolutely. At this point of time, he's one of those guys who bowls quick as well as gets the movement. I mean,
Right.
Overton and Robinson both have got good height, both have got good pace, and both can bowl it in the right areas. And we saw the way he got KL Rahul out. That was an unplayable delivery, And again, in that wicket also, it was quite evident that KL Rahul was caught in the crease. The point you mentioned, that whether to come ahead or whether to play back, that's a very big question you have when somebody like an Overton is bowling, and that was quite evident. And now you expect somebody like him to be aggressive, because he's also made his way into the team. You never know if Mark Wood is fit, whether he would get a chance again in the next game. So this is only time to make a mark. And with the English side looking packed, especially their bowling attack, whichever bowler comes in basically just has that one match to make an impact, because there was a lot of talking about whether him or Saqib Mahmood, who will come in the side. Luckily, he got an edge over Saqib Mahmood that he was drafted. So he has to make a mark. And the way he's bowling, I think he's bowling really well. Whatever little bit of this bowling I watched at this, and he was getting the he was getting the ball to move away from the right hander, which was quite good. He was not afraid to bang the ball in short as well. The six also, which Rohit Sharma, it was quite on the body, which just opened his space. So I think both the bowlers, Overton and Robinson, are really can be threatful at this point of time, because again, get me back to the pitch. Day 3 wicket, a little bit up and down bounce. They get that extra bounce. So it's always going to be a challenge.
Absolutely. And they've got a Sam Curran as well. The short guy, he skids the ball more than hitting the deck. So they've got a lot of variety. And with Jimmy Anderson, we know I might, think that he's one of the best bowlers that England have produced in the history of Test cricket. He's that good a bowler. We all know the wickets that he's taken and the impact that he's had on any given condition. Even in Indian conditions, he's been phenomenal. So he's a complete, test bowler, if I may say. So Jimmy Anderson, Sam Curran, and these two tall fellows who can, hit the ball on the deck and on the body. So they've got a good setup of bowling. Now it's up to them how they get these 9 wickets, because they are on top, and we will see. Rishabh, one last word, if you want to give your predictions, what would be the score by the end of this session? Anything that comes to your mind after this whole talk that we've had?
I think at this point of time, India shouldn't really look to play a lot aggressive cricket. Currently, they are at 34. Maybe add another 50 to it. So somewhere around 80, 85 at the end of the second session. I am happy with it. Okay. Without losing a wicket.
More importantly, not losing a wicket. Exactly. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you, Rishabh, for joining with me. I'll see you in the post-match show, where we'll talk about India dominating this day, and hopefully the match going on ahead, and miracles happen. You should believe in your dreams. Dreams do come true. So thank you, Rishabh. Thank you for joining with me. Thank you, all our viewers. This was Sports Adda Live.